Happy New Year, everyone. I am so excited about this episode together because at the end of this episode, you will understand why relying on visibility alone is no longer enough, and what a silent sales system actually is, and how leaders are building businesses that sell without constant launching, without posting every day, or without explaining their offers a million times, thinking that if they do explain it again, they're going to make more sales. Last week, I had someone who did not follow me on Instagram and who did not know me at all follow me and spend 5K to join my mastermind that I was closing the doors of 48 hours later. Why? Because of the silent sales system I have in place, and because my entire business is an ecosystem of offers that nourish each other, but also an ecosystem of hidden places where people can find everything that they need. So let me tell you more about what that actually looks like, because you know that the content she binged, this was this exact podcast. And this podcast was one of the way that helped her see that I was the exact person for her. And you know what? As soon as she signed up, she sent me a DM and she was like, Gwen, I feel so held. I feel so supportive. I've received everything from your team, because after the sale, I have an entire system also for clients to be so freaking happy. But today we're going to talk about the part that is around the sale. So not the part after the sale, but this is something we can also talk about perhaps in a future episode. So why does silent sales matter now more than ever? The thing that I see is that the industry has changed. Of course, the industry has changed so much since 2023, so much since 2021, since 2020, and so on. And attention is very, very little. Yeah. And a lot of people are fighting online to be visible, to have a quick hook that could hook someone into discovering them. And this is wonderful. Yeah, this is wonderful. It can be a game, but when you feel pressured to do it, to play this game that you don't want to play, that's another story. Because also one of the things that you may have noticed is that when you have zero fun in your business, a lot of the time you are not going to make tons of money. When you have fun doing things that are making you feel alive, you're going to make shit tons of money. And can you make money while being sad? Yes, you can, but the foundation of it and the most of it is going to be when you have fun. And thinking even about sadness as an emotion, that is completely normal. It is completely normal to be sad sometimes. It is completely normal to have things happening and your life is lifing. But if you don't have a silent sales system that is selling for you on the back end, and I'm not just talking about funnels, this is not going to be really profitable for you when you are sad, when you are angry, when you are, I don't know, really navigating hard things. It is not going to be making money all the time. And that's when, by the way, you are mainly the bottleneck in your business. So visibility does not equal also demand. It's not because you are visible. It's not because the trial reels that you are doing have 2 million views that you are making $2 million, right? And so the leaders that are real visionaries in 2026 are not selling, trying to be the loudest person on the planet. And I think we are all a bit sick of it anyway. It is not about really turning up the volume and just making sure that you are everywhere. It is really about intentionality, and it is about having system that is going to, I wanted to say capture, but I almost feel like we are taking hostage someone, but more having someone that can, as soon as they see something from you, could be in your silent sales system. Like this woman who just discovered me, and I think she discovered me from my Instagram. She actually went straight away then into my bio, find the podcast, binge the podcast before even following me, or I think following me just before, and then discovered in one of the podcast episodes that I was talking about Elevate Mastermind. That is not now closed completely, and just jumped in straight away in. And this is because there is no convincing. I was not talking about Elevate on my feed. I was not talking about Elevate anywhere. but she saw through so many touch points that I was the right person for her. And I'm not the right person for everyone, but this is why my sales system is showing who I am and who I am for. And leaders in 2026 who are real visionaries, they are building systems that do the selling for them. Because also they can be very busy traveling, very busy spending time with their family, very busy delivering their work. When I look at how I spent my day today, I spent my day writing a sales page, writing an information page for the Elite Founder Residency, which is a private residency, not like a retreat or a mastermind, but like a residency, like an artist residency that I'm hosting. And I'm hosting this in April. And I'm inviting some women in, and do this work, only me can do it. My words need to come out. So I need to write this. Yeah, I need to write this. This is work that is important. But if I didn't have my silent system working for me, I'm not going to make any money while I spend half of my day. Like this morning, I did this and then a few things and enter people into Funnel Queen Mastermind that our cohort 2 started today. And so I worked this morning only on this, on welcoming people inside Funnel Queen Mastermind, releasing the module 1 and this sales page. And while I did that, I still made sales. In fact, I made 3K this morning from somewhere, not from this at all. And so silent sales does not mean passive. It's not something that you are not going to build or refine with time, but it means intentional. It means you have a specific intention that you are communicating through the lens and the vehicle that you are choosing. It is also meaning that it's intelligent. It can think by itself. And so it sounds a little bit scary sometimes when I say it like this, but this doesn't involve AI. It's not an AI that is going to be intelligent for you and for your sales system. But what it means here is that you have set it up in a way that it is going to redirect people to different things. And a funnel, for example, in your backend through email segmentation can actually see if someone is more interested about this, or if they already know you, they already bought some things, and the conversation can be completely different. And instead of you leading this conversation, it's also a conversation that can be set up to be automatic. But you can, of course, also do this conversation by yourself if you know how to put those triggers in place and actually receive a notification, let's say when someone has a certain score, and that's what we call scoring in our email system. But not going too much into the tech details here, because this is, of course, something I can share with you, no problem. But I think the idea is more on really understanding here and into this first part of like why silent sales matter so much. And so I'm sure that now you see it. And so what a silent one, a silent sales system actually is, and what it's not. So it's not first something that you set up and that you forget forever. And I know that we have a little bit of myth on this, and sometimes I feel myself, in full transparency, that I'm carrying this myth because I have some funnels that I have set up since 2020, funnel and other invisible strategies such as partnership or other invisible strategies that are leading people into my funnels. And those funnels, I do edit them maybe once a year, and they're really robust. They bring 4 to 5 figures every single month since 5 years. So, but rarely we're going to set and forget it, especially at the beginning. We're going to have to test the data and see what is happening. A silent sales system that works very well doesn't have 47 emails in a sequence. This is not how we build something that people actually want to digest. It is not also a tech-heavy monster no one wants to touch. You know, something is in your back and you're like, oh my God, I have to edit this thing. This is impossible. Or like your VA being like, going into it maybe, and then maybe making some mistakes and you don't even know where to check and all of the things. And I've been there, and this is so frustrating. And it is not neither like a template you can copy from me or from someone else. And when I see people being like, oh yeah, you can create this funnel and just like duplicate it for all of your clients, I am not going to create a funnel that you can duplicate all of you. Even in Funnel Queen Mastermind, like in this second cohort that we just started today, I have had some women winning like a bonus map that I did for them. So I mapped the entire funnel. They told me all about their offers and so on. I even have an AI that creates your entire funnel that you can have access to me when you work with me, you can have access to my funnel AI that I built with everything that is in my brain. But the thing is, it doesn't give the same funnel for everyone. And I feel like I'm almost frustrated when I hear people be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Like when I create this funnel and then your other clients can open it and create the same and duplicate. And it is not. And I think it is because I am very intentional, and intentionality in my business is something that I really want. I do not want to be a robot. So what is it actually sales, this silent sales system? It's more a backend experience, okay, that mirrors your authority. So how are you an authority? And it responds to buyer behavior. Like I explained, that means that if someone is clicking on something or not clicking on something or completely ignoring some emails that you always talk about, like to a certain pillar, and when you talk about this pillar, wow, they're so excited about it. Can you notice this? Can your backend do this job for you of like pointing out who is actually a hot lead right now for a specific offer? Yes, it is a structure, okay? A structure that is going to qualify someone, a structure that is going to nurture this person that is who is qualified for something and convert this person again and again without any pressure. And we can set this up in a way where people feel that it's so easy for them to opt out of all your emails or just opt out of something specific. So it really feels like being guided, being understood, and being led. And as a leader, especially if you want to be an elite leader, this is something you need to focus on in 2026. Now let's talk about the core components of a silent sales system. So the first component is going to be your messaging. And that's why I am so huge on messaging, because it is very important to have messaging that works for both hot and cold audience. Why that? Because, for example, this woman who just joined my mastermind, she's a cold person. Yeah, cold. That's like cold traffic. She doesn't know me. She just find my account and then she comes into it. She's not hot, but my entire system in just 5 hours have made her warm and hot, ready to buy, buying when she found the exact offer. Because my offers are not confusing. Okay, and your offers, I think, are also not confusing. If not, you need to do a little bit of cleaning to make sure that one person could easily see this is for me, or this, or this, or this. It's not everything is for me today. Today I want some one-on-one, or today I want some group. What do I want today? You know, so the promises also needs to be quite different from offers to offers. So when we look at this hot and cold messaging, you see it needs to do the work for both. So my silent sales system does the work for my hot audience and my cold audience at the same time. This is by using what I call contextual, because it gives a lot of context, contextual hot and cold messaging. And your content, what it does then, it's a filter. It's a filter, and it positions you as the obvious choice again and again. So people enter your system, they're already hot, or they are going to be very fast. This is what happens to me every single time. The second element now in this silent sales system is the behavior-based journey. And the idea here is that not everyone gets the same path. So depending on how you are reacting to what I'm sending to you, what you are clicking on, you're going to go towards different paths. Some path can be controlled. That's more like into a funnel. You have clicked on this, then I'm going to send you this email sequence. Or you have ignored my last 3 emails, I'm going to send you this re-engagement sequence. We can control it, but there is also so much letting go of the control, which is absolutely beautiful. And sometimes people feel like, oh yes, funnels, structure, organization, control, but it's actually also releasing the control and believing in what you are building, because a lot of things that you are building are going to go on the front end and are going to go on the back end. And that's why the back end works so well, because we tend to first create for the front end, and from our front end, we just plug back things into our back end, which is the second compartment of our business. So we have the first compartment of our business being the front end, creating content, messaging, seeing what works, and then taking offers that we have created, taking an angle, a marketing angle or something that we have created, and put it back into our backend so we can still continue to have people moving through it. And we also reuse everything that we have used in the past, which is like the the life of a Instagram post is actually really long. Sometimes it can be very long, but sometimes, most of the time actually, it is not. So what we want here is to see that clickers, buyers, observers, they can all move differently, sometimes in a controlled pathway and sometimes more organically, like this woman going through my podcast episodes and then going through episodes that she liked, and she listened to episodes where I was talking about different things, and then some where I was talking about Elevate. And the way that I express myself, my authority, my conviction in my work, and the result that I gave to my clients, I've showed her that I was the real deal for her. So we want to make sure that people can be sent in different pathway. And you see, even through my podcast, she was sent in different pathway. And some pathway goes into funnel, and that's a control pathway. You see, like it can be really like a spider web. But something that I want to share with you as I share this is also your spider web is not going to be built today. That's why like we build something in the front end, we can even like test it and see how it goes, and then we send it into our backend. And when our backend is working like a well-oiled machine, that's when you can add ads, not before, by the way. So your system is going to adapt instead of blasting everyone equally the same thing. And that's really important, because something that we are seeing more and more at the moment is personalization. And if this is the first podcast that you hear me talk about this, there are more than 80% of people who are actually buying from personalization, from knowing that you have made this offer for them personally, which is something you can do with your backend. And the third element, I'm going to talk about four. The third element here of your silent system is a backend that carries your energy. Because something that happens is when we go into creating a backend, a lot of people are going to delegate this. Please do not delegate this. I'm not saying the implementation of it and having your emails that you wrote plugged by someone else, but if your backend doesn't have your tone, if it's not like you, if mainly when you sell, people see you on video and so on, put videos in your backend. If you want to sell and double your income in 2026 from what you already have in your front end and put it in your backend, you need to actually put it in your backend, which means with your energy. And your energy is different than mine. And we all have different energies. And that's why it's so important to be able to add, for example, video content, audio content, and different type of content that is going to help our client make a decision. Because the idea is not about knowing what do I say to buy, like what do I say so they buy today. No, there's actually nothing you can say today for them to buy. What you can do is make sure that you are doing a great job as supporting them, answering their questions that they didn't even think about, and talking to all the buyer types and supporting people in seeing, is this right for them, instead of trying to like shove it down their throat, right? So the backend that carries your energy is, yes, about tone, but it's also about having the same standards as your offers. So if you have high standards in your offers, if the delivery is high standard, if the way that people are welcomed and so on is high standard, how can we bring this also for people who are not signing up yet with you? So same authority again and again, and same confidence and same voice and same personality, and the way that you look, all of the things, really put it in the backend so people can feel you. Because a lot of women are having trouble with this and selling a lot more when they are live, and that's only because they don't know yet how to bottle their live energy and put it in a funnel and in the entire backend. And that's exactly what I teach my client, especially into one-to-one, on seeing what pieces we can add into their backend to make it more alive and more them. Your backend should feel like you are still here, you're still in the room, and you are one click away to be connected with. It's not like I will never talk to you. And I feel like this is something that is really important. The number 4 here is simplicity over complexity. And so leaders in 2026, they understand their backend, okay? And understanding doesn't mean that you can do absolutely everything in your backend, but you understand your backend. Yes, potentially edit it. I don't think this is 100% needed. I would personally freak out a little bit if I was not able to edit it. But something that I want you to understand is that this is going to be very different for everyone. And so not everyone is going to want and need to edit this. Something also that leaders in 2026 really understand is that their backend is going to evolve with them. And your backend, as it evolves with you, that means that your front end offers, your front end messaging, your front end everything is going to be plugged back into your backend so it can evolve. So it is also super easy to change the top of your funnel from one micro offer, let's say, to another. And all of this because you have compartmented your backend. It's not like a robust one sales funnel. This is very 2020. And I was having a conversation with a friend not super long ago, and she was like, "Oh, but I thought that you were saying that we need to build one funnel." And no, even when I say how we build one funnel that is going to sell all of your offers, we actually build different funnels, because if not, it's a nightmare to edit and it is not going to evolve with you. So of course, like when there is a language that's on the content I may use sometimes without the nuance, but the nuance is that on the backend you have different modules. Okay, so it's more like a modular backend. Complexity here is going to totally kill the momentum, totally kill the vibe, and totally kill the joy out of actually creating this new arm in your business. This is why it's really important to be intentional and to use a lot of discernment, and also being based always on simplicity, building something simple. Okay, complex sucks big time. So now on my last point here, like one of my last points, I wanted to touch about why most businesses, they don't have this yet. Why do they not have this? And I think something that I have seen of people having systems, by the way, is that they build systems too early. They build systems too early or too fast, or without really their vision being very clear. Something that happened to some of my clients also is that they outsourced before deciding how they wanted their business to feel. I even had a client that booked a VIP day with me last year, and we created her entire funnel, and the VIP day is like 90-minute, 2-hour calls, more like 2 hours, where we talk everything about your funnel, and then I map your entire funnel, all the email sequences, topics, and everything, like absolutely everything for your funnel in a full day. So I do that in a full day. And then she was like, I really have a trouble creating this funnel. And you know what? Like, she's just changing her entire offer suite. That's because it was a little bit too early. Her vision of the business she wanted and how she wanted her business to feel changed. So then we feel a bit down. That's why like the best time to create funnel is like when you feel like, oh, I love those offers, I just want to sell more of them, then that's a perfect time. If it's just like, oh, like I don't care about those offers, they don't really fit what I'm doing at the moment, I just want to make money, it might not be the best for you. Because silent sales systems require vision, requires high standards, require strong leadership. It's not just tools and putting stuff together. If not, yes, you can make few sales, you can make even 5 figures, but you are not going to make 6 figures in your backend. And in my own business, I have made 6 figures just in passive sales doing this. So truly, like the silent system is for women who are already leaders, who are already visible, already working on their front end, already selling, but they know that their business still relies too much on them. If something is fucked up, like if they were in the hospital for like 2 weeks or something, like of course there will be money coming in because they have recurring revenue and so on, but they will not still be driving new people in. And it feels like a lot of pressure to have everything on your shoulders. And the truth is also that their backend does not match their front facing authority. And one more thing is that they want consistency without having to give constant effort, which is, of course. So the question is no longer, how do I sell more? Okay, how do I sell more? You know that you could create another offer and you could say something else and you could invent some one-to-one and do blah, 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 blah. But it's more in 2026. How do I build something that sells even when I am not there? That is the big difference. And that is the big difference between being a creator, creating offers, creating content, and being a leader and being a CEO. and being a visionary. So silent sales systems, they are not about stepping back, okay? They're not about stepping back away from your business, I need to escape. They are about building something strong enough to stand on its own. They're about building this new arm into your business that is going to support you and double your sales without doubling the amount of work that you have to do. And that is the standard for leaders in 2026. If you feel like, yes, this is my love language, this is exactly where I am heading this year, there are a few ways we can get this done very fast, actually. If you already have a team, the best way is to hire me as your fractional backend and funnel strategist. That means that after us creating the vision of your backend, I will support you and your team in getting it done and installed, fully plugged into your system so that you can double your revenue in 2026 with simplicity. If you DM me FBF, fractional backend and funnel, we can already chat about it and I can tell you how that will look like for you depending on what you need to be set up. And I love to set up all of the things and to support teams doing it. And if you are newer to systems or you want to do yourself your funnel first and see like how to do it first before delegating also this maybe to your team, the funnel mastermind is for you. In just 5 weeks together, you will set up your funnel. You will master how to map the funnel, how to set them up, exactly what to write in your emails to get 30% conversion rate by building a silent system. And the next cohort starts March 2nd because we have just started today a new one and it's on pre-sale behind the scene. If you DM me about the March cohort, I will send you all of the details. And the last option is a 2-week one-to-one intensive to structure and architect your backend or one funnel together. This includes a one-to-one call and then material review and support. And if you need me to do it yourself, of course, there is also the VIP day. You can send me a DM on Instagram or reply to an email that I sent you in the past, and we can have a chat to see exactly what is best for you. But I can feel that this is where you are stepping in towards for 2026. Have the most amazing year ahead, and I talk to you very soon. Bye, everyone.